All right, so I have been avoiding doing my reading journal because I am currently on Onyx Storm, the third in the Imperium series by Rebecca Yarros. I love that book so far, but I'm procrastinating because I don't want to finish the book and not have anything else to read. So yeah, I haven't read it for the last like 2.5 weeks, and I've been prolonging doing this journal because I want to have that book finished before I did this, and I'm just like, okay, we can't keep prolonging and procrastinating both. So this is what my journal is looking like so far. So cover page here, this is my 2025 bookshelf with just all of the spines. I'm gonna come back in and just fill in when I finish reading stuff. I actually did 3 books this month. Well, not this month, but like January, February. That's what I'm doing the journal for so far. I have my reading goals. My goal is to read 24 books. I ideally want to get there. If I end up reading more, fabulous. If I don't know. I'll just have a couple of blanks here. Reading bingo, this I wanted to do specifically for romance. I love the romance, like romantasy genre in particular. I actually have a list right there of the different ones that I want to kind of get into my romance bingo, and then the free one is going to be a space, so I'm going to be filling that in today. I have my yearly statistics. So what I can do this month so far is January and February, and then fill in a couple of my ratings. I also am going to come back at the end of the year, fill that on in. I think I talked about this when I was doing my reading custom journal, and it follows a very similar process look to Storygraph. In particular, that's the app that I use to track all of my books. So I just kind of pulled out the ones that I really liked, like the fiction versus non format, whether it's digital, paper, audio, and then my page numbers. I usually read books that are around like 400 plus pages. Sometimes I read 300 and under, but that's kind of what that is. My 2025 favorites. So for each month, I'm going to come in and fill out what my favorite book is, and then write it down. Have February and January have a little competition, March and April have a little competition, and those two would have a competition until we get to the final year. I really am excited for this one. I have my 2025 bookshelf. So like I said, I do have a lot of space. This one goes up to 44 just because of how the spreads ended up looking. And then I'm gonna put a little printed photo and give a star rating for that. Alphabet game. I did this in the custom reading journal as well and liked the idea, so I thought I would give it a shot in mine. Basically, you just fill out what the title of the book is. One that I know that I read is Iron Flame, so that would go under the I category. Fourth Wing would be the F. I reread those books in prep for Onyx Storm. Loved them even more the second time. My daily reading challenge, I'm going to be filling in January, February, and the beginning of March. The only reason why I know when I read and when I didn't is because, and I have it right here, my journal this month and for January and for February, to do a little flip through, I had little habit tracker stickers and I checked off when I read. So super easy to see when I did do any type of reading, and then I just come back in and check it off. So reading, for example, I haven't read the last couple of days, but I did do Monday and Tuesday, so I can highlight that in this journal just to kind of see a visual of how often I'm reading. So that's the daily reading challenge. My star ratings, I'm gonna fill this in with you guys. I saw somebody else do this online and I thought it was really cool. Basically, you just write down what a 1 star, 2 star, 3, 4, and 5 would look like in your reading journal. So you kind of have a basis to reflect a little bit more accurately in between reads. So I kind of hope that that helps me have a bit more consistency over my ratings. I'm a really picky rater, I think, at least. I am usually like an average star rating of like 3.5. If it's a 4 star or 5 star, I find that's a really good book. My monthly logs, start doing the books that I read there. So let's get going. These are the ones that I read so far. I did Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, The Queen of Nothing. I'm currently on Onyx Storm. I printed off these 2 as well because I think they're going to be one of my next books, and then just like other books that I might potentially be reading. I kind of wanted to save a little bit of space on some sticker paper. I know I'll use this no problem when I'm writing out different titles and stuff in my own monthly bullet journal spread, so that's not a worry to me. But these 3 are the ones that I read. This is the one I'm currently reading. This is going to be the next book that I read, potentially. Well, let's just go in and color the spine first. I think I'm gonna color them to just match. So the Queen of Nothing was kind of like this beautiful purpley color. I did read the Cruel Prince series. I thought it was okay. For me, I noticed it was just a little too YA, and it took me a while to like the main character, and even by the end I still didn't really like her. So I feel like that just kind of twisted my perspective on things a little bit. Be like yellowy color for Fourth Wing and like more of like a goldeny color for Iron Flame. So first 3 filled on in. Reading goals, I think I'm going to keep this pretty neutral and just color it on in a gray. So I did 1. I might come back and change my mind on this. I don't know if I like that. We'll see. We'll come back. We'll test it out for this month. Here we go. So romance bingo. This is all that I want to fill on in. And then the bottom here, I'm just going to check it off when I get a line, corners, cross, and then full page. So line could be horizontal or vertical. Corners 1, 2, 3, 4. Cross would be this way, or it could be that way. And then full page is the entire book bingo. So let's fill that on in. I really love, while I'm writing this down, the enemies to lovers. I love that one. It's so good. Just like the tension that is in the book. Oh, chef's kiss. One thing I want to say about this too is I did not come up with these different genres or like categories, I would say, for the romantasy bingo. I just Googled a bunch of different romance tropes and found the ones that I liked and think that I would actually read. There were so many out there, but I didn't want to include ones that I know that I wouldn't. Like, I'm not a huge sports romancy girly, so I didn't include that on my romance bingo, but that's a very popular genre of romance themed books. So if you do like that style, include it. I'm realizing I didn't write down enough, so I'm gonna have to come back to that one, which is so funny. Oops. Yearly statistics. So in January I read 2 books. February I read 1 because I started Onyx Storm and I just took pause at the end of February because I was waiting for my friend to catch up, and then she surpassed me and I just took pause because I didn't want to finish the book. So oops, don't need to fill out any of those. I read The Queen of Nothing and Fourth Wing in January. I read Iron Flame in February only, so that's my February favorite. Out of those 2, Fourth Wing was my favorite. Again, I did say that The Queen of Nothing was just a little too YA for me, so I'm gonna just come on in and grab my January Fourth Wing sticker. Oh my god, this looks so good. And for this in particular, I just did 2.5 centimeters by 3.5 centimeters. I find that you can fit the most across. You can see on my bookshelf, I can fit 4 across and 4 down, so you end up getting 16 books per page, at least with my A5 journal. That's kind of how it works. I love both. I think I would have to say Iron Flame is my favorite out of the 2, just because you know the characters a little bit more. You have a little bit more background, a little more emotional attachment to them. This was so well written. I really, really, really loved this book. I read this right after I read Court of Thorns and Roses series, the ACOTAR series. I rated it a 4 stars the first time that I read it because I was so hung up on the ACOTAR series. My second read, I loved it even more. It was a 5-star for me. It was super easy. Same with Iron Flame, 5-star. It was really, really good. Oh, actually, while I'm going through this, so these little stickers are actually some of my own. It comes with like 80 something stickers, and I find it perfect for setting up. I use them in the custom. I use them in my own reading journal. They're just so much easier to get everything all uniformed. I'm kind of snooty patooty like that, and I want everything to look the same, and I think if I freehanded it, it would not work with my brain. So the first book that I read was The Queen of Nothing, and book number 4 I am currently reading is Onyx Storm, so I'm just going to pop that in there just for convenience sake. Alphabet Game, I'm going to use the Queen for Q, and then we have Fourth Wing, same with Iron Flame. Cool. So far, 3. Daily reading, I'm gonna come in and fill that in now. So that's all filled. Star ratings. I feel like they're just kind of really basic explanations, but at least it gives future Caitlin reading these an explanation of why I did what I did. Okay, so those are the ratings right there. They're kind of general, but they work. And I feel like those would fall into it. Like I enjoyed this book. It was a solid read. I enjoyed it, the book overall. I would change a few things. I think it was just a little too YA for me, and I think it could have flowed better. Didn't really love the main character. Then Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, Onyx Storm, I'm reading. I feel like this is gonna be another 5 read. I do have some people who are like, I have a 5+ read, and that's like God level tier, but I don't want to do that. I just want the 1 to 5. So that's there. Now let's do the actual writing them out. So Queen of Nothing, that was my first book. So format was digital. I read that one on my Libby library. I don't remember when I started or ended. That's going to be in my phone, and I'm recording with that, so I'm going to have to come back to that. Summary is just going to be of like my general thoughts, and then we're going to kind of see where it goes. This is my first time doing a reading journal, so I actually don't fully have a method down. I know that I did something very similar to this in the reading journal that I did a custom for my friend for, where I had like general notes, favorites, and then like thoughts and all of that. So maybe I'll do that down here. Don't know. Don't know. Kind of all that I want to do. Okay, I don't know if I want to start the next book down here or if I want it for like its own separate page. Because I think I'm gonna have a lot to say about Fourth Wing. So this is my reread of Fourth Wing. I loved the book. It was so freaking good. So I'm just gonna come in here. I actually have some dragon stickers, so BRB. These are just like extra stickers, so I might as well use them. Little baby and Dharma. Maybe I'll finish the bottom here. I wish I had like cool lettering. This is it. This is the full flip through. Cover page, 3 books. There, book bingo, I'm gonna come back in and fill. So that'll be filled next time you see it. I can do my enemies to lovers. And that is, I think, kind of it so far. I did 2 books January, 1 book February. I started Iron Flame, Onyx Storm in February, just haven't finished it. Those are my tops so far. Here we go. Got my alphabet game, daily reading, star ratings, and I have Queen of Nothing, favorites. I have to grab my book for the quotes, and my phone for the start and end dates. And there we are.